Monday. We are Monday bound. We're halfway through the show this afternoon. We will be chatting as well with Chris Parsons about healthcare and P3 funding of a new hospital. We'll talk with the Deputy Chief of Police, Bill Moore, about swatting and bomb threats. Also, Don Desrud about tonight's big debate. Make debates great again. Is that going to happen tonight? I don't know. I'm not going to watch it. That's because I only have 2 channels. Maybe it's on my channels. I don't know. I only have 2 channels if the weather's right. Right now, we are continuing on our path of discussions with potential counselors. In fact, our next guest is running in a very busy district. Lots of people interested in becoming the representative for District 12. John Bignell is a candidate. He's in our studio. Welcome.
Thank you, Sheldon. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
It is Medic Monday.
It is Medic Monday. Thank you for bringing that up.
You're a paramedic. You're a paramedic. You're on a leave right now as you run for office.
Yeah, it's been a busy summer. I've taken a leave from being a paramedic and been focusing 100% on the district, on the issues, and trying to get to as many doorsteps as I possibly can. And as a paramedic, you missed your job. I truly do enjoy being a paramedic. And for me, removing myself after a 20-year career from EMS, it's a big step, and it's a big transition for me.
Not unusual for people in paramedicine to end up trying out the political hat. Dave Wilson, a former member of the Legislative Assembly, a former health minister, I don't think he ran municipally before he ran for provincial. So what is it about your desire to help that made you want to run for office?
I think that's just it. I think as a professional paramedic, our profession is all about helping people and bringing people's concerns on their worst day. We deal with those issues, those problems. We enter their homes. We see them in their worst state and provide a solution, provide opportunities to help them to get them from point A to point B. So for me, it's really just an adaptation of what I've always done, and that's helping people and trying to find solutions to their problems.
Is this campaigning all you thought it would be so far?
It's been an interesting experience. I have to say, usually when I arrive on people's doorsteps and I knock on the door, I'm there as a paramedic. They're welcoming to some degree. As a candidate, you're not always welcome. It's amazing how many people don't vote. It's amazing how many people say, I'm not interested in talking about politics. I'm not interested in municipal elections. And for me, when you look at the actual data, only 34% actually showed up last time to vote. So it's a real small margin of opportunity here to get voters engaged, get voters excited about this election. And for me, that's really, really important. That's what I'm trying to do every day when I'm out there 3 times a day, trying to find all the voters, all the people that care, are passionate about this city, and make sure they come out on election day and make sure they bring the issues that are important to them to the election.
For those homes that people not only answer the door, but let you get your foot in there. What is it that they want you to do? What is it that they think is the number one priority?
I think it's trust. I think people want to have trust in their counselor. When they elect you, they want to know that you're going to represent them, you're going to represent the issues, you're going to represent their whole life, in the sense that they want to make sure that their city will be a place that their children can raise their family, that they can buy their first home, and they can find jobs. And for me, that's why one of the reasons why I'm running is that I look at these issues. I look at my 2 children, Keegan and Patrick, a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old, and this is a city they're going to inherit. And if I'm not part of the solution, I'm just part of the discussion. I want to be part of the solution.
He's running in District 12, Timberley, Beachville, Clayton Park, Wedgwood. You lived in that district long?
This is my community. As a paramedic, I work at the Tantallon Station, so that's a huge, huge area, huge coverage area, and this is the place where I've done my business for the last 20 years. So for me, this is the community. My kids go to the Timberley Christian Academy. It's where we've built our roots in this community. It's where all the associations and groups that I belong to, it's where they work out of. And for me, when I look at the community, it's really been our home for the last 20 years. We moved there. My wife and I moved there in 1998, bought our first home in Sheldrake Lake subdivision. And for me, it's where we kind of expanded and grew. We looked at our first group I joined was the Homeowner Association, then Rio, looking at the Bluff Trail, an amazing trail system in our backcountry. It just kind of expanded from there to all the different environmental groups that are fighting for Otter Lake, make sure it's protected from the city changing its rules. And then looking at Blue Mountain, certainly been a huge, huge discussion point. Blue Mountain, Birch Cove, that's where we go canoeing. That's my close to home Keji. It's where I can escape to, where I can get away from the city, the hustle and bustle, and truly get away and into the wilderness. And I think it's a shame to think that could be developed, and I think we can come up with a better solution for that issue.
That certainly has been a topic that's been in the news and top of mind. There have been other discussions about transit. There have been conversations about term limits. Wondering, what do you think about? Should there be a limit in the number of terms a person can serve on council?
I think it goes back to my original answer about trust. If you have the right person in there and they can stay in for a long, long period of time, then it makes sense for them to stay there. Look at Jennifer Watts, a very inspiring person and a true leader in our city. Wouldn't it be great if she stayed a little longer? But then you look at some other councillors, and I won't name names, but you say, you know what, they've been there long enough. And I have to admire, Red Dragon's been in for 26 years. I look at the challenges I face as a candidate, as someone knocking on doors, trying to get elected, and it's a huge, huge undertaking. So I have to admire the people that stayed a long time, and I have to admire the people that said, you know what, I think a term is a short term. For me, I want to be a paramedic. I enjoy being a paramedic, but I don't want to sit around complaining about all the issues of the city. I want to be at the table discussing the issues and make sure that my voice and my children's voice and our children's of the next generation have a voice in the city so that I can be part of the solution.
Would you give up your career as a paramedic if you're elected?
I will have to take a leave once again for 4 years as a candidate, but I'll maintain my registration so I can continue practicing healthcare. I think it's a huge step for me to leave a passionate career like EMS, and especially on a day like Medic Monday. It's a great day to celebrate the work that's being done in our province and by our paramedics. It truly is an amazing group of people. So to leave that would be a huge, big piece of me leaving me, and I'm not quite ready for that, but I look at the city and I look at the direction it's going, and I want to be part of that challenge. I want to be part of that solution to fix these problems that I see, to fix these issues that are coming up. If it's easy to sit back and complain about it, it's really hard to be at the table trying to fix it.
One of the other challenges that you've identified is voter turnout and apathy, and you call it trust, that I call it distrust, mistrust, that in many ways people feel sure, maybe you had you had great intentions when you came into office, but the system itself is broken. Is it broken?
It's the best system we got, isn't it? And I look at the issues and I look at the problems and say, until a better system comes up to elect our officials, to elect our people, then this is the best package. And I really say to those people that aren't showing up on election day, you're not helping the cause. If everyone came on, I look at a good example, Greenwood Heights subdivision in Timberley area. It's an amazing subdivision, a very engaged group of individuals in District 12. They have a Facebook page, and if that whole Facebook page of over 1,000, almost 2,000 people actually turned up to vote for one candidate they supported, they would control that election. So their issue could be the number one issue. They said everyone in our community is going to vote for one person. That person then would be connected to that group, and they would be essentially controlling it. So I think it's really important to bring those people out, to bring the voice out so we have diversity. We have all the voices from right across the whole district. And right now we don't have that. I look at the numbers and say, have we really ever elected a city council with our numbers being so low?
John Bignell here in our studio. He's running in the District 12, Timberley, Beachville, Clayton Park, Wedgwood. As you mentioned, the incumbent has decided not to reoffer, and I think that's opened the door to quite a lively race. In fact, several of the districts where there's no incumbent, we see many more people interested in running. Why do you think that is?
Well, I look at the people that are running in my area, and there's an amazing group of people, and I think that when they see the opportunity, they want to bring their voice to the city. When I see opportunities in other areas being the incumbents have reoffered, it's a huge, huge up climb to get to the stage where you can have a platform, where you can have a soapbox, get the issues out there. How does a paramedic in a station step up and become the counselor? And that transition, I've noticed, has been really, really tough. So for me to go from being just the average Joe in the community to representing a whole district of 20,000 people, that's a huge transition. A lot of committees, a lot of hard work, a lot of door knocking, and I don't know if everyone's up for that, with the knowing that after you invest the whole summer, and I've invested almost 3 months now of my time and separation from my family, when I look at all those sacrifices we make, and every one of us, all 6 of us are making those sacrifices for this election, I think it holds people back, and it prevents the good people in our communities from challenging it and trying it, because it's just such an uphill battle to get to.
Last question. It's this development community that's been discussed, and the challenges. How many times in the show we've had people say, well, we shouldn't do this building isn't right for this neighborhood, and the money that candidates are accepting from development organizations. Some are saying that that is making you beholden to a group of individuals. What is your thought on campaign finance and the money that you have raised or will raise to run for council?
I look at it much like a small business. And for me, it's about budgeting and planning. I knew early on that I wanted to represent District 12. I knew early on that I wanted to have a good, solid chance at winning this race. So I planned out how much money it would cost for a newspaper ad, how much it would cost for signs and promotion, some of the web marketing I'm doing. How much would this all cost? So I look at that budget, and then I figure out how much I'm going to have to save for the next couple of years in order to plan to be ready for this election. So for me, I don't need the money from external sources. It certainly would be helpful, certainly be great. But right now, I'm sticking to my budget, I'm sticking to my plan, and so far I feel like I'm on track. I have a need to go to developers, I have a need to engage that community, so I'm not held to them. I don't need their money. I can do it independently, I can do it on my own, and for me, I think that was important.
Well, we've spoken numerous times over the years, so glad to get you into the studio to talk about your ambitions. People that I know who know you say you're a hard worker, and John Bignell, thank you for coming to the studio to tell us about your ambitions.
Great to be here. Thank you, Sheldon.
Thank you. We're going to take a break, and when we return, it's, Bicycle Corral. There was a dispute. What's this all about? We're going to hear from the Halifax Cycling Coalition. Be right back.